This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so today is Thursday, March 26th, and as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. So we got a few things going on out there this morning. The first one I'm going to be looking at is this MFA. So we can see yesterday just the huge amount of buying that we saw continuously coming into this thing, and we started to get a little bit of a push in the aftermarket. Not any real pullback, to be honest, and then we just started to really get that push coming into the morning. So now I'm a little bit unhappy with the prints we just saw because first of all, coming up to the 2 level, we got some decent buying coming in. Not anything that crazy. I mean, right here, don't get me wrong, that's a lot, but it's just a very, very, very mixed level. Okay, but we have to understand we are going to get selling coming in, so it's all going to be about the new buying that's coming in afterwards. So right now I'm not seeing as much as we'd like, which is telling us that we are going to be looking for a pullback coming in first. But overall, the amount of buying that we're seeing still coming into this thing, it certainly shows that it has the ability to keep on moving and keep, really, really pushing. And we want to keep seeing stuff like this right here. Okay, just bursts and bursts and bursts of that new buying, that new building, because that's what's going to push this thing up quickly. So MFA, like it a lot. Next thing I'm going to be looking at is SIG. Oops. Okay, so SIG, the reason that I like this, and it kind of just switched itself. Now, this is going to be definitely towards the bottom. This is actually a sideless stock. But what I liked about it this morning is there was really nothing going on in it besides this buying. And then we got a little bit that was coming in at 9, but it actually had a lot more of the smaller prints that came back in. So it's actually getting a lot uglier. We're going to switch this over to the side list because it had some great variables coming into it, and then obviously, based off of the range that it usually has, you're talking about $1.63. With this morning, we were going to expecting a bit more, but it's going to have to go to the side list now. The prints are not as pretty as they were, so we're still going to be looking for a pullback underneath there, and then obviously, still needs a move over that 9 to be able to satisfy it. 10 being the price target because of the fact that we can't make a price target higher because 10 is going to give us 90% of the time is going to give us a lot of information. All right, next thing looking at is AIM. So AIM I like a lot, and the reason that I like this a lot is because of the fact we talk about this all the time. We come back over to the highs and we see buying. Buying at the highs in these cheaper stocks is something that's just so important for us to see because we know that profit taking is going to bring it back down. But really what we need is we need to make sure that we have somebody up above that needs to make money, and that's exactly what we do have here. So without buying at the top, it would have made this a sideless stock, but with buying at that top, we're definitely going to be looking at this very, very closely coming into the morning. Next thing looking at is Oxy, OXY. So yesterday, absolutely beautiful trade, and we kind of pulled back from a lot of the buying that we had from yesterday. But if we look coming into it, I mean, you can see some beautiful stuff going on out there. We have that buying that's at 1150 right here that kind of came over, and we have a little bit above higher. And then right here, I really like. Okay, this 1173 to about 1178. The reason I really like this is because this kind of means now. This is definitely that shorter term buying coming back in. Now we're going to need more. I mean, this isn't going to just do it, but overall, certainly showing us that we should be able to break past this 12 level. And then 12, unfortunately, kind of the setup that we're in. 12 gave us a lot of information yesterday. So I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot come into here, and especially if it's going to be on the ass side, then we're going to end up getting hesitated and kind of pulling back a little bit and then going back up. But remember, we talked about drawing our charts yesterday in class, okay? And it's not really that hard to draw, but we're going to have two possibilities here. The number one is that, okay, we hit that 12 because it showed so much information. We come back down quick because it's the beginning of the market. We end up, the prints start to satisfy themselves quickly. So after that pullback, we end up getting a break past that 12. Or we could just pretty much skip the 12 completely, and then kind of just start to push, and it really kind of be a little bit of an exception. But overall, the more likely is going to be we're always going to follow our rules, and we're always going to take that one as being the higher percentage because that's why what rules are there for. Now, a few other things on our side list. IBIO. Okay, so IBIO, it's starting to come towards the bottom of the side list. I really don't want to see it break this 130 because then it has just a ton of room down. But if we come back over, and if it lets me show the prints higher, okay, yeah. So you can see here, No buying at the highs. That's why it goes onto the side list. There's nothing that's sitting up here that tells us that somebody's going to have to make money. So this is something that would kind of come out of nowhere. Still going to be looking at it because of the sheer amount of volume and how much is coming into it. But like I said, I'm not a fan of what's happening right now, especially with this much selling coming into the bottom of this support level. And then we obviously we already talked about SIG. So don't really have a long list. Just a few other things to point out. BA is just on a rampage as usual. You can see that the buying that keeps just continuously coming in. So obviously something I'm still going to be looking at. ZM, I liked a lot about what we saw right here at that 140.90. Now, obviously, it's way past there, but we're still going to be watching this. I know the ETFs are just going absolutely nuts this morning. So if you want to look at NUG, you want to look at JNUG. I personally am never going to start my day with something like this. I'm always going to start my day with some type of cliff note. And then what's other? And then airlines. Obviously, airlines are still in play. I mean, you could see just over and over. I mean, it's just going to continue on the same exact way until we see some type of end in sight, which I don't think too many people really do, obviously, based off of what we're seeing going on out there. One other thing that I do have on my side list that we'll go over real quick is PENN, and it's not really on my side list because this is just absolutely disgusting, but this is just kind of shown coming out of nowhere some really good volume and some really good movement. And even though this looks absolutely disgusting with no real trading, a flag is still a flag the way it needed to be built, and we do have some buying from yesterday that kind of sat up here in that consolidation, around that 15 level. So something else, this is, I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. It's not something I normally would put there, but it's kind of had that personality where it's not really doing too much and then making that move. Yes, and of course, thank you, Donna. And of course, our cruise ships, cruise lines, CCL and NCLH, have been absolutely phenomenal to us. So let's make sure that we don't forget about those. Like I said, I'm always gonna start my day looking for that cliff note trade because the cliff note trade's always gonna be easier than the stocks that well, not always, but for the most part, it's gonna be a lot easier to read than the stocks that we have their stories in. But we also have some really great stories. So let's make sure we're kind of making a mix of both of those. All right, guys, make sure of anything else that I missed, by the way. I think you guys just kind of threw it out there. I don't think there's anything new, but TLRY. Let's see. I know that the pot stocks yesterday were making a move. Let's take a look. Now I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it's still 100%. I mean, you had some prints that came in at 550, some more that came in at 550. We're already kind of above there. It's going to need new buying, but yeah, absolutely. No question. I don't even know why I check anymore, Mariola. Absolutely. All right, guys. So let's make sure everything over the past 2 weeks that we went over in class that we were doing this morning, and we're really putting a focus on what we learned, because as you know, every time that you learn something new and you really focus on it, it ends up presenting itself almost instantly. So let's make sure that we're paying attention. For everybody else, let's make sure that we are out there. We're going over our post-it notes and we're understanding that we need to focus on the habit that's going to most greatly affect our trading. All right, guys. So I will be here all day because, like I said, classes are going to be Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. I am looking forward to being able to dig my head into trading today. So I will talk to everyone in the chat, and happy trading.